Redscale film is color film that was shot through the base instead of the emulsion. This is some black and white film, just pretend it's color film. You have the base side, which is normally the shiny side, and then you have the emulsion side, which by comparison is duller and matte. And inside the camera, the emulsion normally is facing the lens, but when you redscale the film gets flipped around and you actually start shooting through the base of the film. This is important because the color layers of the emulsion are standardized in most film stocks. On the top you have the blue layer, and then a yellow layer, a green layer, and then the red layer. When you shoot color film, normally the light will first travel through the blue layer, and then the yellow filter will cut off any excess blue light, which is important because the subsequent green and red layers are sensitive to blue light. But when you redscale the film, you are now going through the base, the anti-halation layer, and then the red layer. This is some poorly exposed redscale film. I was experiencing some technical difficulties. Please just ignore some of the bad stuff. While most of the shots I took look monochromatic, if I do a little bit of processing, I could actually pull a little bit of color information out of it. And this is about as good as it gets with these shots. You could actually get some color other than red depending on your scene and your exposure. And just one thing I forgot to mention, when you shoot through the base and the anti-halation layer, you lose a bit of light, so you want to compensate either by overexposing or overdeveloping a few stops. And it seemed like the more you overexpose, the colors start to shift, but honestly that's beyond my current experience, so I can't really talk about it. And that's Redscale. A lot of people have done this before. I mean, Lomography has a line of Redscale film. Cinestill surprised a lot of people by coming out with their own limited edition Redscale film. I can't just leave it at that. So I cross-processed it. I sort of made a big miscalculation when I shot this film. I decided to redscale Ektar 100 because it was some of the more affordable color 120 film. And that turned out to be a very poor decision because Ektar is rated at 100 speed, which in general sucks, but like I mentioned before, you either have to overdevelop or overexpose to compensate for shooting through the base and the anti-halation layer. And of course I decided to overexpose the film, which meant I lost one stop and had to rate the film at 50 speed. Honestly, I should have actually overexposed it by more, but that's not all. I cross-processed this as well, and when you cross-process C41 and E6, you have to overexpose or overdevelop by 2 stops to compensate for the cross-processing. And when you add all of these things together, I had to rate this film at ISO 12. I decided to shoot most of this roll indoors, like an idiot, which meant each exposure was about 30 years long. I mean, would I recommend this process to anyone? Normal redscale? Sure. Personally, I think it's whatever, but I can see why people could like this. Would I recommend cross-processing redscale? If you have an extra roll of film and some free time and you really hate yourself, then yeah, go for it.